if you do get rejected, you've tried your best, and all you have to do is continue to get better and better. They're gonna regret that they didn't pick you up once you get into a better thing later on in life.
Honestly, this might seem cheesy as it is, but really the biggest thing I would have to say is that you matter. There are a lot of times in this industry, especially being in school, they say that college is where you find yourself, but college theater is where you have to make yourself.
I'm Blake Collins. I'm a violin performance major, senior here at Baldwin Wallace.
My name is Justin Lee Price. I am a sophomore music theater major.
Since middle school, I've been in orchestra, band, all that good stuff, and I've been pretty much the only black person in the violin section.
It's a whole thing auditioning for music theater. Like, there are programs, there are like coaches or whatever. I just looked on Google for top 10 schools.
Since then, it's pretty much just been me, just solo black person in the orchestra.
And so I ended up auditioning, I got waitlisted, and then I got in, and it's been a roller coaster ever since. But I think being a black man and getting to do something like this doesn't happen every day.
My dad he's been a DJ, and he has always loved to play music for us, just like hip hop, jazz, a lot of jazz, R&B, all that stuff. So I tried to put a little bit more of that soul into what I'm playing, even though it's like old Russian, German, white guys that I'm playing all the time.
You realize like how much being black is important to the arts and how much we are in the canon, which I had even thought about. Like, you grow up watching those like theater episodes in Disney Channel and you're just like, oh, people don't really do this for real. And then you go to New York City and you see a black man belting his face off at stage, and you're sitting in the top back mezzanine, like barely able to like squish in between your choir teacher and your best friend, and you're just like, wow, black people really do this.
I think when, so I've been in this group called Urban Strings Columbus. It's an all-black orchestra, youth orchestra, and I've been part of that for almost 11 years now. And one specific time I came back as an alumni, and I played this piece called Levy Dance by Clarence Cameron White, an African composer, and they just ate it up. They loved it. They were just like, I've never heard of this composer before, and I put them all onto it.
It was my first professional job at Great Lakes. It was Ain't Misbehavin', which is kind of like this big song cycle of Thomas Fats Waller, who was an iconic black jazz artist. To be able to do that show in a majority black room, to walk in a room where there's only maybe 2 white people in a theater space, unheard of. Having a black director, unheard of. And so it was amazing to me to kind of be in a space that was so black and proudly so.
And an orchestra isn't just like you have to play like these, like Mendelssohn, Bach, all these people. You can, it's the 21st century. You can just go over and check out other things. We're still here. We're still making good music.
Now is the moment. Here I say, maybe we should move on. We can complain until kingdom come, blah, blah, blah. That shit gets old fast.
It's been interesting navigating it. I think being at college has definitely made me, I guess in a sense, wake up to a sense of being black, but also to an extent of being black in musical theater.
Thankfully, I've been in a pretty supportive like bubble whenever I'm like in orchestras and everything. But there are some times where kids are just like, this guy, he doesn't look like me. He shouldn't be playing this good. Like, I put in the hours, I put in the work.
They want to see a certain type of black man. People do. And when you don't give them that, they don't understand, or they're confused.
But sometimes I definitely feel, back in like high school and when I go to like different camps and stuff, I do feel like there is a little bit of that animosity, like I should be above him, why is he in that position? This is kind of unfair, like blah, 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 all that other stuff. I'm just like, but I put in the work.
And most people don't want to see that out of a black man. They want us to just kind of just stay under the radar or act in our boxes, you know? And if I want to be outside the box, I have to do certain things that make me marketable. We have to adapt consistently. And it gets hard because you're never quite comfortable all the time.
You're the one who's always saying that you're the one who taught me how to throw a rock. I remember when you first walked the line.
I wake up at 6 in the morning and I don't get home until midnight. that's my schedule. I work hard for the things that I do, but because it's for a trope or a stereotype, it's not taken seriously.
Almost all of my teachers and mentors have been like white musicians. The Clarence White piece was actually taught to me by my teacher here, Dr. Ross, and he's always been just like, hey, you don't have to play Bach at your recitals or your juries or anything like that. You could play this. You can play this. There's a lot of other great composers and stuff that look like me.
Despite all the boxes that people tend to have and all the stereotypes that surround musical theater and being a black man in musical theater, I think it's very nice to have people who will be right there by your side, who see you, who understand you.
My parents have just been like super supportive, super like be on your stuff. This is a white man's world. You better be on your stuff.
It's not easy. This industry is not easy. This college is not easy. What we do is not easy.
So I feel like that pushing me into that this type of world and has helped me traverse it just a little bit easier in that sense, to just like tread on water all the time.
You really have to know who you are as a person, or else you kind of fall on the wayside. You have to know who you are, and you have to bring that self out of you every day. And if you're not at 100, you have to at least bring 80.
Getting used to rejection, or just having that, just like, I'll just push through even harder next time, that mentality.
You are going to consistently be making work on yourself. You're going to be consistently making mistakes. And I think it's one of those things that you can't let those mistakes hinder you, especially in this career. You have to keep going forward. If you have a bad day at rehearsal, you have to take what you learn from those mistakes, and go forward to build a stronger character, to build a stronger art, to build a stronger show.
Do it. Do it, and do it well. Do it thoroughly. That thing of rejection, always have that in the back of your mind, but just keep on pushing through.
There are a lot of times where you kind of like chameleon yourself to try and fit in. And so you kind of lose your identity, because so much of your identity is other people. And so when you kind of sit with yourself and figure out who you are, that's where you realize your strengths, your weaknesses, what you love about yourself, what can be worked on.
There's a lot of organizations that are led by us. There's a lot of mentors out there that play the instrument or the art that you're in. So like, reach out to them.
Pretty much sitting in a character no different than myself makes me realize just how important it is to know who I am as a person, because I can't mess that up for some other black boy who's sitting in that audience going through the same thing I'm going through. Theater's a huge responsibility.
Even if you're just like 12 years old, aspiring to do this, reach out to them.
Like, I have the ability and the responsibility to tell stories that can change lives.
They should respond back to you. They're all super nice. Do it and push through it.
You matter, and that you have to hold on to what you know, despite everything that's gonna happen. I wouldn't change a thing as to my experience here or prior, because it's made me who I am. There are a lot of things that I regret, sure, but there are a lot of things that I would never, ever change, because without those things, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't do what I do. I wouldn't experience what I experience. I wouldn't be able to give the good advice that I'm giving now had I not gone through those terrible things in the past.